Hello and welcome to the Majorly Undecided podcast. I'm your host, Kat Klaus, and I'm excited to invite a very special guest here on the show. A lot of students and parents, we've been talking to a lot of professionals who are established in their careers over the last, it's a good 10, 20, 30 years into their careers. Today, I'm excited to introduce one of my students who is on the way to becoming an amazing professional, Trevor Brendlin. Trevor is a Boise State senior. He is the founder of Blue Collar Sports and Tuolumne, two brands that he started while he was in school. He's on track for graduate school. He's going to tell us a little bit about that. And completely changed his mind. Not completely, but changed his direction in college. Trevor, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, thank you, Kat, so much for having me on. I've enjoyed all my time with you over the years, starting with you as a client, and I'm excited to be on a podcast because that's something I know a little bit about too. So I'm excited to get this going.
Perfect. So, Trevor, you started with me when you were a sophomore in high school, so it's been a while.
Yeah.
Makes me feel tell us a little bit about what you were thinking of when you were in high school, what you wanted to do.
Yeah, I guess I remember the first couple sessions where you kind of laid out some things for me to start thinking about what I really enjoyed in life and what I wanted to do. And at that point, I knew what I liked to have fun and do, but I didn't really know how to make it a career. So at that point, I really didn't know what I wanted to do. And I guess for the majority of high school, I didn't really have a clear path of what I wanted exactly at that time. However, I did know I liked starting things and kind of being an entrepreneur. So that's kind of fell into where I am now. But I remember you trying to push me to start something that I really enjoyed. And I love the outdoors and being active in kind of a clothing brand. So that's why I started Tuolumne with you. I believe it was junior year or senior year, 2016. I know that is when I started Tuolumne with you. And that really kind of showed me how to start a business. And I really put out what I enjoy to other people. So I knew I wanted to do something in those lines. And then after graduation, I kind of went to Boise State to follow the outdoors as well. So I wanted to go put all those together. So I remember the first couple sessions and just trying to brainstorm what I really enjoyed. And looking back, I didn't know what I wanted, but it kind of all fell into place where I am now.
I remember you started out, you were thinking about being a film major because you really liked making movies, and you made really cool stories with your little sister in the backyard. And you're
definitely did that in all of my GoPro videos.
And then you discovered a little bit more that it wasn't maybe the filmmaking so much, but you made a lot of amazing videos in the outdoors, and then you always wanted to have your own clothing brand. What was the learning curve there? What did you learn the most as you were setting everything up?
Yeah, I guess it was kind of I still enjoy making movies and films. I've done that at Boise State for my football, and I still want to do that in whatever career I am going towards. So definitely want to have that piece in me forever. But it kind of showed me that I want to be a storyteller, I guess, in whatever career it may be. And if that's being a clothing brand, I want to tell a story with my clothing, like Tuolumne. It's a meadow in a county outside of Yosemite National Park where is my favorite place in the world. So I wanted to tell a story about a place that is pretty close to me and tell a story that this is about the outdoors. And if you wear this brand, you feel a part of nature and outdoors, and it gets you excited to be outside. And I know that's hard to think about right now during the times we are at right now, but that's kind of the story I wanted to tell with that. And going forward with whatever brand and company I'm in, I just want to tell a story with it.
Now, a lot of students, I'm sure, who are listening at home are wondering, how did you start a clothing brand without ordering 5,000 shirts and sweatshirts and hats and things like that from other countries? Like, where did you get the capital to do that?
Yeah, I just kind of asked around saying, this is my idea. I wanted to start this. So I started working in high school every summer. So I started young and I just saved all my money. So I had the capital I wanted to build. And you don't need to go out there and purchase 1,000 shirts or anything. There's a lot of websites out there that really help you get going, where you could just buy about 20 or so, and get some samples and kind of show them to people and show them that this is your idea. And once people see it, they start wanting to know more about it. So you could tell your story through that. And then you could I made a website for it as well. It's still running today, tuolumne.co. And it got all the story on there. It's got all the merchandise, and that's how I'm able to tell my story of Tuolumne on there.
So then you decided to go to Boise State, and going in, you were a kinesiology major. Why?
Yes, I went to Boise State because it's a great school. It's a great city, Boise is, and I just wanted to learn something new. So I've traveled a lot, but never had really realized I wanted to live out of state. And so I did. In Idaho, it's a great state. But I went in as a kinesiology major because I always loved sports. I played baseball and all the sports in high school. And then I just loved athletic training, and I loved working out and being athletic and being outdoors and doing every sport I can. And so I went in as a kinesiology major, thinking I was going to be a personal trainer for a professional sports team or something like that. And I felt like all I'm going to do is study how to work out pretty much and learn just about the body. But I went in freshman year and I didn't know much about it, and it turned out not to be the route for me. I didn't know what subjects I really enjoyed as of then, and I learned quite quickly science was not for me. Chemistry class in particular was what turned me to switch from that. But it was a great first couple semesters in kinesiology. I wanted to be a trainer, but I realized I could do. Once I started working for the football team in equipment, I realized there's other ways to work in sports, and that's kind of what steered me a different direction.
So, when did you get that job with the football team?
I got that right away. So I went to Boise for orientation, and my orientation leader mentioned that he worked for the football team for a little bit, and that sparked my interest. And I was a pretty quiet kid, but at that point, I think that was the best time I've ever went up to somebody and asked them a question, because that led to me to getting a football equipment job. He told me all about his job, and he gave me the number of my boss. So I contacted him during the summer. He said I could join when I get there at school. And so right away, once school started, I was working with the football team, and we went into week 1 of the season already. So right when I got on campus, I started working.
Was that intimidating to just ask for a job on a Division I football team?
Yeah, absolutely. I remember probably in our meetings during high school, I probably still did talk a lot because I didn't really know what I wanted. But going there, I knew I was going to a new state. I didn't really know too many people, so I needed to build those skills of going out of my comfort zone and talking to other people and networking. And that's when I started networking, was right before freshman year with getting a equipment job. So definitely I was scared, but looking back, that was good for me. It changed my whole career, I guess. And now I'm able to do that everywhere I go. Now I'm always networking.
What did you learn working for the football team? Because I imagine you didn't start out. I mean, now we can see you on TV in the sidelines, right? All the football games, but you didn't start out that way. So where did you start, and then how did you advance?
Yeah, working for the football team, you would think it's glamorous, but it really isn't. I was with the equipment operations. We do everything from setting up practice to helping out all the coaches with all their needs to doing the team laundry. So some parts are not glamorous. Some parts you get to be on the field on game day, which is the best part of it. You get to travel with the team. And so starting out, though, you don't get to do all the fun stuff like traveling. You have to stay at Boise, stay at the home games. You work every single day. There's always practice. You get one day off every week on Mondays, but usually we come in to do something with changing helmets or doing something with the uniforms. We're always changing. So, and you always are staying to do laundry after practice. So I remember long nights. Practice would start. We'd have to be there at 1:00 after our morning classes, and after laundry, we wouldn't get out till 9:30 or so. So it was definitely a long days. You don't really get paid at all, so it's it's a lot of work, definitely, but if you want to work in the profession, it's what you have to do. That's what I quickly realized, that this is what I want to do. It's a lot of work, but it showed me this is the path for me, and I'm glad I did it.
So that path was working with athletes or doing more training, or how did you?
At first I went in freshman year wanting to be the trainer. So I was with equipment, but I kind of watched what the athletic trainers did. We're in the same building. And I still thought that was for me, but after taking chemistry and these other science classes, I realized I don't think this is for me. And when I was there, I noticed a lot of different jobs, like the coaches, even equipment where I was at, and even just the managers upstairs in the building that kind of just managed the day-to-day operations. I realized that there was other opportunities for me. And going back from high school, I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur because I started Tuolumne. So Boise State's a great school, and they have a lot of great majors, and they have entrepreneurship as a major. So I jumped on that. I switched and started doing a lot of business classes, and that was a great move for me. It showed me, it made me well-rounded, and the entrepreneurship kind of sparked my interest to do more with my companies that I start. And so being in the football facility, I saw there's many opportunities in sports, and just starting to build those relationships with the athletes is what kind of moved me to where I am now with working with athletes. And so I want to build relationships, and I could do that with coaches, with athletes, and everybody in that facility.
So tell us more. You started another business in college.
Yes. After my first year of working with equipment, I met my best friend, Seth, who works in there as well. And so going into sophomore year, we at first just wanted to talk sports. That's what we did at work every day, was talk sports. And we knew that on campus there was a radio station, and they didn't have any sports shows. So we wanted to be the first ones to come on there and start a sports show. So we quickly got in touch with everybody working at the radio broadcasting studio at Boise State, and we started our first show, and we named it Blue Collar Sports, since Boise State is known for being the blue collar team, and that's the spirit that our team rides on every single day at practice. So we wanted to kind of mirror that with our Boise State ties. So we started Blue Collar Sports our sophomore year, just talking sports every single day, and we've done that for the past 3 years now, and we're over 150 shows. We did live radio shows, we did podcasts on SoundCloud, we're on YouTube, we're on Spotify now, so we're all over the place. And it was definitely, and being a shy kid at the beginning, I knew I was going to be a little bit of a struggle at first, but I knew it was going to be good for me to really be able to talk more, be more comfortable when I'm speaking. And that's what kind of gave me the confidence to go in there and do it. I want to try new things, and that was a great thing for me to really learn. And our first couple of shows were not that good. They really weren't, but looking back, we're much better now. And our past couple of shows have been fantastic. We've got over 1,000 viewers on some. So it's been a great experience, and we're going to try and keep it going now that I'm leaving, and down the road, we're going to always keep it going. But I started it as a radio show and ended up making it as a company, because I want to keep that as kind of just my brand that I use wherever I'm doing. If I want to open a sports company, that's what it's going to be, is Blue Collar Sports. So I went about the ways to trademark it. It is trademarked and registered. I made shirts for it. I have a website, bluecollarsports.com. So it's been a great experience, and we're going to keep it going as best we can.
So that you said the first couple shows were very nerve-wracking, and now you're like pro, right? So
yeah.
What, like that first show, did you want to bail? Were you like?
Yeah, I remember on the first couple of shows, it was only an hour long. It was only an hour-long show, but I had a note page for me, and I wrote down every single word I wanted to say. So I had a script that I was going to go about. And at the first couple of shows, it was just on a radio. We didn't do live video or anything, which we do now. We do 3-hour shows on video on Periscope now, so much different than when we started out. But at the first couple of shows, I scripted everything, but it wasn't as good. If you script stuff, it's not going to be as fluid, and as personal as you can make it. So first couple shows were definitely nervous, and but so was Seth, and so we got through it. We learned every single time, and now we feel like we're pros, and we could be on ESPN.
So, you have Blue Collar Sports. You got it trademarked. So you looked up all the process to get it trademarked, and
I did.
then, but now you're thinking about, you discovered your dream. So, what is your dream? What are you pursuing next?
Yeah, kind of the pivot that made me kind of realize what I wanted to do. At first, as I mentioned, I was kinesiology. Then figured out I don't want to be a trainer. I don't want to be in the sciences. So I switched to entrepreneurship. I want to learn more about business, and because I started a company in Tuolumne, but I wanted to learn what can I do with that. I want to learn everything about it, and so I took all the classes that you take in business school: finance, marketing, accounting, all of those typical business classes. But the one that really struck me was my law class. The first one, I didn't think I was going to want to be a lawyer at all, but it kind of sparked my interest in law. And then once I took a second law class, I knew this was really something I was interested in. And so I talked to my professors as much as I can. I knew I don't have much history with the background of law, so I don't know much about it, but I want to learn as much as possible. So I went out of my way to do as much research as possible. And I really liked trademarks and patents and stuff, all the intellectual property subjects of law. So that's how I went about starting Blue Car Sports as a trademark. I researched how to do it, and I ended up trademarking Blue Car Sports. After a year, I have the official letter now. And so I really enjoyed all those classes, and that kind of showed me that I could use my entrepreneurship kind of mentality with a law background possibly, and use that towards sports in many different ways. I could do it with a professional sports team in the front office. I could do it in college athletics as an athletic director. I want to do it as a player agent now with the NFL or NBA, whatever sports league I want to do it in. I want to be a player agent to help athletes grow from college to the pros, and use my law background and my kind of entrepreneurship style to get guys going and kind of market themselves. So that's kind of the switch that made me realize what I really wanted to do was junior year when I took my law classes. And I've ever since I did that, I knew this is what I wanted to do. And that's what I'm doing now. I'm going to grad school and in a program that is sports law and business. So it's all three of the things I want to do: sports law and business. And whatever comes from that, I know it's going to be the right direction.
So it's sports law and business. So there's an experience curve that you have to have, right? And so you had, along with working with the team and then bringing in your business acumen, and then now you're looking for more sports law internships. So how have you gone about that process?
Yeah, so I had the sports background with working with teams with the equipment. I had the business background, like you said, with my startups. But I didn't really have the law background, like I mentioned. I just enjoyed the classes I took. And so I wanted to learn more about it. So as I always do, I always research everything I can. So use Google as best you can. There's everything on there for you. But I just really wanted to start networking with professionals around the industry because I didn't know much about it. So I went about in the football program who I knew there and what agents maybe they would know, or law professionals they can know. And it really got me thinking. There's the NFL Combine out in Indianapolis, and that's a great opportunity with all the business professionals at one place at one time. And I knew there was a lot of conferences that kind of talk about sports law and business all together and how to really start your career. And so I thought that would be a great opportunity to go out there and possibly meet some professionals in the industry. And so what I did was make some business cards, and it was on the weekend. So I flew out there to Indiana to join a conference and at the NFL Combine. And it was a great opportunity because you're just walking around town, you run into everybody with every NFL team, every executive of sports companies like Nike and training facilities. Dude, everyone's just there at one place at one time. So it's a great networking opportunity. And I was able to meet various agents. I met some coaches, and I always gave my business cards to them. And The best one was with Athletes First and sports agency that I'm applying for an internship with. Their president, Brian Murphy, was there, and I sparked up a conversation mentioning I was one of their internship applicants, and he was a great guy. And I gave him my business card, and just little things you could do to go out of your comfort zone and go to areas where you know the industry you want to work in. Everybody's going to be there at one time, so just go there, walk around, and make a conversation with anybody possible. You don't know who they may be. You may never really know who they are, but if you just have a small conversation, that can lead to many great things. So doing stuff like that and talking to everybody in the industry you can is a great thing. And like I mentioned, I used Google. I researched. I found different sports lawyers around the nation. I just emailed them speaking for advice, and a lot of them responded saying how they want to help. So it was a great opportunity that I've done, and I've gained a lot of experience, and I can't wait to go to grad school to gain even more.
That's incredible. So you start with Google, right? And they're like, the
Yes.
NFL Combine thing. There's conferences. I go to those, right? And then you go,
Uh-huh.
and I know personally, I would have been in college like terrified. Like I'll have my business card, and then it'd be like, oh,
I definitely was.
gotta talk to people.
Yep.
How did you kind of force yourself to talk to people? Because you and I come off as very outgoing, but we're actually very shy people.
Hmm.
How did you work up to talking to strangers, especially strangers
Yeah.
professionals in one of the most famous organizations in the world?
Right. It was definitely very tough. Like you mentioned, I'm a shy person. I really am. But gaining those skills through college is really what gave me the confidence to do that. So that's what I did with Blue Car Sports, my radio show. I gained the skills and confidence to speak well and just kind of voice my opinion.
What advice do you have for students, like other high school or college students?
Yeah, so like I mentioned, I wanted to gain the skills of speaking and getting the confidence. So with Blue Car Sports, my radio show, I wanted to learn how to speak better and be more voice my opinion. And so I was able to do that, and I gained the confidence and knowing what I wanted to do. I wanted to work in the football area of sports, and I felt like I was well versed in many different subjects in that area. So that's what gave me the confidence to go to Indianapolis to combine to speak to these professionals. It was very daunting. These were professionals for 30 plus years. It's a very tough industry to get into. And I knew all that, but I'd done everything I needed to do to have that opportunity. I knew my background speaks for itself, and I knew that I had the skills to do it. So having the confidence definitely helped me go there and distribute my business cards and spark a minute conversation. It could just be a minute. It could be very quick, but that could go a long ways. You could purchase them a Starbucks. I remember purchasing a Starbucks for one of the coaches there, and that could definitely go a long ways in 20 years when they're looking for helpers. So definitely just having the confidence and doing that was a great thing for me. And so for advice for students, I would just say, just learn as much as possible as you can. Always research, and you can never learn as too much. You could just be well versed in every different subject. I didn't know what I wanted to do at the beginning, but don't really freak out, because it will fall in place. You'll learn different subjects, and you'll really learn what you want to do. I learned quickly that science wasn't for me, so I went to business, and then I learned that my law classes were very helpful for me. So definitely wanted to do something with that. So just being as open to any opportunity you can, just take anything you can, say yes, and just try to be as communicative as possible. Always network. I didn't realize it then, but when I networked with my freshman year, when I got the football job, I realized that was my first kind of professional networking, and that's what I've been able to do ever since then. And so, just learn as much as possible, and you'll be able to get there.
Trevor, thank you so much. This is great. I think that one of the biggest misconceptions is that you know from like sophomore or junior year of high school what you want to do, and that's not the case with anybody, right?
That's right.
And it's taking that action. It's trying out new things and seeing if you like it or not. Because we didn't even talk about in high school, like being a sports agent or anything. We talked about the sports industry, but there's so, like you said, there's so many opportunities. You can be an athletic director, you're telling the story of a brand, and then all these things that you tried along the way just gained your skills to put you where you are now.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for joining us. This was great. And I know that our students and parents got a lot out of it. I'm hoping, and when you finish grad school, we'll have you back on the show and you can give us an update on all the cool things that you're doing.
Yes, I definitely will.
That'd be amazing. So thank you so much. And thanks for joining us on Majorly Undecided. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and you can always find us on our website, majorlyundecided.com.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.